Hi everyone, in my previous video I explained what was differential research. You can find the link to that video in the description section below. In today's video I'm going to talk about cross-sectional research versus longitudinal research. Now both cross-sectional and longitudinal research can be classified as types of differential research, especially the cross-sectional research. And let me explain to you what is cross-sectional research, what are the advantages and disadvantages of it, and a little bit about longitudinal research as well. So cross-sectional research, as I told you, is type of a differential research. So differential research is when a researcher separates two groups to study those two groups, and he separates them on basis of a pre-existing variable such as age, years of education, years of work experience, or it could be something like gender, it could be a political opinion, like separating the Republicans from the Democrats in the US population, right? So that is how they separate the two groups, and they study the two groups. They don't manipulate the variables, they just separate them on pre-existing variables and then study the impact of the independent variable on the dependent variable. So in this case, the independent variable becomes the basis on which they were separated. Like gender or age could become the independent variable, and the dependent variable is the impact of it. So for example, if you are studying how males and females approach an assessment task set in a university, then the score that they get in the assessment task becomes the dependent variable, right? So what is cross-sectional study? So cross-sectional study is an example. Let me give you an example, is that you have groups of students, young students, or groups of children, and you have separated them based on age. So there could be 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, and 6-year-olds, and you have separated them based on a pre-existing variable, which is the age. You have not manipulated their age, you have separated them purely based on their age, and now you are studying how they go about solving the same puzzle. So you are studying their ability to problem solve, or you are studying their ability to solve a puzzle, and seeing how different age groups are reacting to the same problem or the same puzzle. Now this is a differential research because it takes off the definition of a differential research, separating groups based on a pre-existing variable. However, there is a problem with cross-sectional studies. The problem is that called cohort effect. Now what is cohort effect? So the problem occurs because of cohort effect. So here, let's take the same example. You have 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, and 6-year-olds trying to solve the puzzle, and you are seeing the age, the impact of the age, or the relationship between the age and the problem solving ability. However, the cohort effect occurs because the 5-year-olds or the 6-year-olds may be now going to schools. The 4-year-olds and the 3-year-olds may not be going to school. So their ability to solve the problem is nothing to do with their age. It could be because they are engaging in additional learning by going to school. Alright, or let's take another example. Let's say you are trying to study how 60-year-olds, 70-year-olds, and 80-year-olds are managing their finances. What is their relationship between the age and their ability to, let's say, have $1 million in savings after retirement. Now, although you are trying to study the impact of the age on the financial management, here there could be people who are saving up or spending the money and have nothing to do with age. It could be because people lived through a global financial crisis, or they lived through a depression, or they lived through a time when there was no jobs, there were not much jobs, or there were wars in that area. So, and that's what shaped their attitude towards saving money. It has nothing to do with the age of the person and the ability to save money. So again, I'm giving some random examples here, but you get the idea. This is called cohort effect. Now to address this cohort effect, and to address it and to make sure it doesn't happen, many researchers engage in what we call is longitudinal study. So in longitudinal study, they study the same group. So they will study the age group of 3-year-olds and their ability to solve the problem, and the same 3-year-olds become 4-year-olds, and then 5-year-olds, and then 6-year-olds. We study their ability to solve a problem as they progress with age. So we are studying the same group, and we make sure that the other variables are kept minimized, which can influence their effect on the dependent variables. So You can study maybe 1-year-old, 2-year-old, and 3-year-old, and make sure they don't go to schools, and see their relationship with the problem solving ability when they are trying to solve the different puzzles at different age groups, and how does the problem solving ability or their cognitive development, that is the word for it, the cognitive development is changing with age. And you make sure that they don't go to school, and the result of the problem solving ability is a direct correlation to their cognitive development, which happens with age. So lot of people engage in longitudinal studies. The only problem with longitudinal studies is that sometimes it takes a number of years. Sometimes it's hard for you to track the participants. You may lose the same participants over the number of years that you are trying to study. It takes much longer time for you to complete the research, and it becomes difficult if you have lost the same participants, and as the sample size becomes lesser and lesser, it becomes hard for you to generalize your findings. So that is what correlation research, what cross-sectional research and longitudinal research is all about, and how the cross-sectional research comes under the differential research. So I hope this video was useful for you to understand a little bit about these types of research designs, and let me know if I missed something. Happy to read it in the comment section below. Like, share, subscribe, and I will see you soon in my next video. Bye for now.